The national anthems of China and France.
女士们、先生们，请全体起立，奏法国国歌。Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the national anthem, People's Republic of China. 女士们、先生们，请保持肃立，奏中华人民共和国国歌。
And there's the roar we've become accustomed to hearing here in Xi'an in China. We now see the tradition continue of players exchanging gifts. Of course, today is New Year's Day here in China, so it's fantastic to see a great crowd here. And we've seen some wonderful firework displays all week here in Xi'an, so let's hope they continue tonight here on the court. The referees are ready to go, as well as the players, and today's referees are James Boyer, Alan Dos Santos and Jacqueline Dover. Boyer and Dover are both Australian referees with 11 years of experience between them, while Dos Santos is a Brazilian official with 5 years of experience. So of course, a very capable refereeing panel in what is set to be a massive game to tip off one of two big do-or-die clashes really between China and France and New Zealand and Puerto Rico. Let's now see who is starting for each team. Firstly, let's have a look at France. And of course, we know they came off against a big win against Puerto Rico, and their starting five is Ayayi, Solon, Williams, Bardien, and a new face in the lineup, Alex Duché, Laurie.
And she had a really good game the last game, 10 points. And so, you know, that's great to see that she's starting as well. But let's talk about who's coming off the bench. Johannes came off the bench and broke that game wide open. She straight away made a couple of threes when she came into the game and actually ended up being named MVP with 17 points, 6 rebounds.
And here's China's starting five: Wang Suyu, Yang, Li Huang, and Han as well.
Yeah, and that wasn't that impressive. 21 points from Han Xiu at an amazing, Julia, 100%. 9 from 9, including 3 3-pointers. And didn't the fans love it? And I'm sure they'll be treated to that today. And then you had the likes of Li Ru coming off the bench, and she had 16 points. So it just demonstrates the depth of this Chinese team.
Here is coach Zhang Wei. She'll be hoping her team can secure a spot in the Paris Olympics and win their first medal in 40 years. So France in the white today. We did mention their starting five just quickly, and confirmation on your screen for you now: Ayayi, Solon, Williams, Bardien and Duché. So a very capable lineup to go up against this Chinese team.
Well, you know, they're going to have to really share the scoring around. It's going to have to be defense by committee. We know how disciplined China is, how much depth they have. and the way that they just go about their business. France is going to have a strong start right from the beginning. And I'll just be really interested to see the matchups. Who's going to, match up against Hung Siu, and are they going to double team her? How are they going to prevent her from getting the ball so much? So lots of things to look forward to.
And another person looking forward to today's battle will, of course, be France coach Jean-Aimé Toupin. Of course, his team came up just short against China in the 2022 World Cup, going down by 14 points in Sydney, Australia. And have a listen to this. So a very loud roar. You can hear the excitement building around the arena, Laurie. We've got 1 minute to go until tip-off.
Well, I tell you what, it's going to be hard to hear each other in commentary, let alone the players trying to call plays out there. I certainly hope they have hand signals like I mentioned before in the last game, because this Chinese crowd is relentless with the noise that they bring, but it's really exciting. And as a team, as France, I think it's still great to be playing in front of a crowd like this. It's just a crowd that appreciates great women's basketball.
Absolutely. China love their basketball here in Xi'an, as the two teams get ready to enter the court and do battle. Of course, one of two games today, China and France, and then New Zealand and Puerto Rico following. France will be in the white today, and China, of course, proudly donning the red. You see Maureen Johannes, she'll again be starting from the bench. Had a fantastic game up against Puerto Rico. Absolutely dominated that one with 17 points in 17 minutes, 6 rebounds and 6 assists.
Yeah, what a spark coming off the bench. But right now we're focused on the players that are on the court and ready to go and start this all-important game.
Welcome to Shanxi Provincial Gymnasium in Xi'an, where France is taking on China in day 2 of the Women's Olympic qualifying tournament in Xi'an. And it'll be Williams to have the ball first for France into Ayayi as the boos ring around the arena. Ayayi gets fouled immediately and will head to the line.
Well, I'm sure that's not quite the way that China wanted to start it, and especially Hong Si Jing just fouling straight away, really an unnecessary foul. And that's a nice way for a player to look at their shot and get a feel for it, extending themselves to the foul line. Not quite this first one though for Ayayi.
God, and the boos affect both foul shots there, so Ayayi misses 2 from 2. Here's Huang now, finding it difficult against Ayayi. Lee, looking for an option, gets it back to Huang. Han, she started the game with the bang last time. Now Huang. Duche with the rebound.
It was a good idea because there was a big mismatch in there.
Salon sets herself. Good rebound from Badian. And Duche will start things again. Badian wants Williams and does get her in the end. A long triple. Great defense by China.
Well, it's a bit of a nervous start for both teams, Julia. They look a little uncertain as to what they're doing out there.
That's what we've come to expect. Everything on the line in these Olympic qualifying tournament games. We know France have already qualified as the host, but China, if they win, they go to Paris. Wang. Huang. Ayayi fouls. It's going to be a great battle between these two.
Isn't it? That's just sort of 1 for 1 at one end at the beginning when Huang Xijing fouled Ayayi, and then same thing back at the other end. So we'll see. Keep an eye on that matchup.
The two number 11s going head to head. Han. She's guarded by Badian. Young, the captain. Finds Han, but it was a good pick by Williams and falls to Huang! What
a shot to start her campaign off on the scoring sheet. She had a hand in the face too. That was pretty good.
Tipped off the game on Thursday with a big 3 as well, did Huang Sujing. And now Williams for France. What can they do to respond? A beautiful drive and a nice finish.
That was a great finish because Hong Su was right there trying to block that shot. And she didn't respond. She didn't change her shot. And it was a great score by Williams.
Young. Han gets it tapped away from her. And then drives herself. It's not a bad look. But Salon's able to rebound. Gets it to Badian. Duche. Shot clock ticks down to 10. Oh, big action didn't work there.
Was the right look, that high-low action. Just didn't have the seal quite held enough. On a bit of a turnover there. Might have been better to kick it to the wing and get just a slightly better angle.
So Wang reliably bringing up the ball for China into Li Meng. A big game for her on Thursday as well. Wang. France doing well to hold her up here. And Badian gets the hands involved. The shot clock ticks down to 1. Young! Clutch!
Well, she got her player in the air. That's exactly what you don't want to do as a defender, is fall for that shot fake, and she played it beautifully.
As you can see, 12 points on Thursday against New Zealand for Young Li Wei. 71% from the field. Salon now. Beautiful drive, but it was an awkward shot. And then Li hit the deck.
Well, she'll be disappointed that she missed that shot, Salon. And then followed that up with almost like a frustration foul when Li Meng got the rebound. Oh, my apologies. Ooh. They've called it the other way.
Well, isn't that interesting? We both thought it was... Yeah, okay. So France pull from the baseline. They'll be very relieved with that call. Williams driving hard. And lets it drop.
That's a tough basket. The physicality out there right now is very intense.
Williams already up to 4 points.
Nice back cut. Oh, again, disappointed that she missed that, Woo Sung-yu.
Duche thought about it, then has to go back. Ayayi, what a beautiful cut.
What a great pass and a great finish by Ayayi.
Of course, she missed those 2 free throws early on in the game, but she's on the score sheet now. She's had a positive start to this game. Young Li Wei. Badian's been doing a great job of guarding her. Han. Double teamed. Young sets. Han gets slotted away from her to Ayayi. Good defense by France. Badian just holds it. And then finds some space. A nice step through, but an equally good block. Wang has Li ahead of her. Nothing but the basket. And puts it in easy as you like.
And that's where China can really hurt you. They're so good at that rebounding and then getting out and running. And Li Meng, in that case, sort of leaked out a bit early and a wide open layup.
You can see Johannes just in the background of your screen getting ready to come on. As Ayayi spins.
Oh, got her own rebound out there. Really worked hard to come up with that against Huang Sijing.
However, it's a China ball. Just weren't aware of the shot clock. And here we are seeing Manine Johannes come onto the floor. Had a big impact off the bench. 17 points in 17 minutes. 5 3-pointers, 6 rebounds and 6 assists up against Puerto Rico.
And also for China, Peng Zhongxi has come onto the court as well.
"15 minutes, 8 points and 4 rebounds against New Zealand on Thursday for Peng. And here she is with ball in hand, feeding it back to Wang. Getting around Duche. Ayayi. Back to Duche. Starting in place of Marine Fortux tonight is Alex Duche. Here's Johannes. Duché. Badian comes in with the screen. Han never looked like missing that rebound.
Well, there's an example. It's a 4-on-3 right now. Great pass. But an even better block for that. And here France are now on their way. Oh, no. Wow. All right, good idea to settle it now, although there's only 10 on the shot clock.
Need to be aware this time round, the French team. Johannes, a one-legged shot. It wouldn't be beyond her to put it up.
Well, the thing is that she can make those shots. It's not uncharacteristic for her to shoot that sort of shot, especially as the clock's ticking down. End of the shot clock, you need somebody. That's a high percentage shot for her.
So Alex Duché coming off the floor, and interestingly, Romain Bernays. So still yet to see Marine Fortux in this game, Laurie.
Really interesting. We wonder if there's some sort of injury concern for her, but you would sort of have expected that perhaps she was on the court by now.
Li Mong, a great rebound. Young, Han, still can't get on the score sheet. And now Johannes, can she take full advantage? Guarded by Li Mong. What a great battle this is. Ayayi steps back. French ball.
That was just pure hustle by Bernays, just to get her fingertips and then force it off of the Chinese player so that they can maintain control on the baseline. Really good hustle.
Ileana Rupert back out onto the floor, replacing Badian. Rupert coming off 6 points and 3 rebounds against Puerto Rico, played the 21 minutes in that game. And an offensive foul on Johannes.
I think she was just working to try and get herself free and get rid of young Li Wei, and in the process just probably pushed a little too hard. And that's certainly fans agreeing with that as they see the replay on the screen.
And they also see Li Yueru coming onto the floor to replace Han Shu, and Alexia Cheri, the other big, to replace Ayayi.
You know, it doesn't stop you. You think they might lose something when Han Shu sits down, and then you've got Li Yueru coming in.
Certainly wouldn't be my favorite thing as an opposition player. Pan Junchi driving against Cheri, spinning. Great defense, but Li, 2 offensive rebounds in a row. 2 shots to come.
You know, I didn't mind that drive of Pang Zhangxi going into the basket because Cheri had just stepped onto the court. So, you know, test her, see how she's going, and then just that fight for ascendancy on the boards and the perseverance with it. And now Li Yueru finds herself at the foul line.
Very different reception in foul shooting for the China team compared to the France team. Boy, oh boy. And now they're trying to get behind her. A really positive game against New Zealand, by the way. 16 points and 12 rebounds. Perhaps another double-double coming tonight. So Williams now into Bernays. Finds space. Finds a bucket.
A great decision to pull up on that Bernays. She lost her defense. Now she's got a steal and a chance for another basket for France.
Cheri now looking to settle things. Repair was free.
There's a bit of a mismatch there. They just weren't able to capitalize.
Let's see if Wang can do it for China now. Li, the one-hander pick up, the spin, and the finish.
That was a nice move. She found the body of her defender, was able to use that to spin around, head up early. Nice, easy finish.
3 points and 2 rebounds for Li Yueru. Johannes!
And that is exactly what she did off the bench in the previous game. That's really what set the game going for France.
Absolutely. 5 3-pointers made on Thursday night. I wonder what she's got today. Puts her team back in front. Wang! Repair knocks it out of the way. So some subs coming on for France now. And it is Dominique Malonga and the captain, Sarah Michelle Bouri.
Wasn't Malonga great in her game the other day? 18 years old, and she had 8 points, 4 rebounds. So she had played limited minutes, but was really influential.
Super impressive. Certainly putting her hand up for that Olympic Games selection. Of course, we know Gruder not in the side at the moment. She's just coming back from an injury, taking a conservative approach as the French team. But it'll be very interesting come July.
Well, it's always great for any country where you have a selection dilemma. That means you've got depth. It means that the players have to stay sharp the whole time because no selection is automatic. It's a really nice problem to have, if you can say that.
No selection dilemma for Zhang Wei, though, because Li Yuan is a very capable backup point guard, and she's on the floor now. Double team, though. That was a great approach from Bernays. And France happy to just wait and set back up. They've been pretty slow in offense.
Setting up some horns action as their coach is calling for, but now there's only 10 seconds on that shot clock. They've got to make something happen, create something.
Shetty, can she launch from the corner? Good rebound by Michelle Bouri. And Malonga was interfered with.
So France, while they took a long time to get into that horns action, they were able to make something happen out of it, and a shot and a rebound, and now be able to have possession at the end line with the shot clock reset to 14.
Jean-Aimé Toupin is very vocal on the sidelines. A lot more vocal than he was on Thursday, it's going to be said. Johannes, another 3. 2 from 2 from Marie Johannes.
That was a great setup on that out-of-bounds play for Johannes, and that pass was made, a nice little bounce pass, and when she catches it, she has a shooter's mentality and is going to go up straight away. Really great basket.
China all of a sudden on the back foot. They call a timeout, down 14 points to 10 off the back of back-to-back threes from Marie Johannes. Let's listen to Coach Zhang Wei. So let's take a look at this work from Marie Johannes. Bang, 1-3, and then sets her feet. Another 3. That is all class from the French superstar. She can do it from all over the court.
Well, like I said, that was such a well-executed out-of-bounds play and just a really great pass. She literally leaned down to get it and then go straight into her shot, and that's what we know she can do. China are going to have their work cut out for them trying to stay on top of Johannes and make sure she doesn't continue and light it up.
2 from 3 from the field, 6 points for the game. Of course, we know she had those 17 points on Thursday against Puerto Rico, shooting 50% from the field. So play resuming and the crowd giving the Chinese team a push. Some key players have yet to score, including Han Shu. Li Yuan into young Li Wei. Goes hard. Gets slapped away from her. France ball. In fact, it came off her leg.
I like how China, though, are trying to mix it up and you know, not just pass it in, have penetration through passing, but they're also trying to have some dribble penetration, as you can see from their guards.
Johannes, 6 points for the game. She's going to work on Li Mong, stepping back. Young Li Wei able to capture the rebound. Gets it back from Li. France are not really giving the Chinese team an option at the moment. So Young has to go herself, but Malonga says no. Michelle Bouri. Johannes, behind the back, Bernays, can she finish it off? Wow!
As you saw, a nice little smile on her face. The players point to each other, acknowledging, recognizing that she made that extra pass, Johannes.
It is a 9-0 run for the French team at the moment. China have to go. They don't recognize the shot clock time, and time expires in the first term. What a performance by the French team to start off this game.
Very, very impressive in what we're seeing out there right now, Julia. And, you know, they have their mindset. I like it because they've already qualified. So they're taking this game as this opportunity. You don't often get to play against the second best team in the world. And so they're really using this opportunity to test where they are really at on the world stage.
So at the end of the first term, France 17 leads China 10. And you can take a look at the stats. Both teams shooting pretty evenly from two, but the three-pointer is where the difference is at the moment. It's because of Marine Johannes.
Well, that's exactly right. And, you know, they're going to want to make sure that they continue shooting France. Against the other game, they shot 42%. So, you know, they would want to continue in that vein. And certainly China will be talking about some different things that they want to do, how they can get their bigs open. I feel like France is doing a really good job of three-quarter fronting the bigs and also putting good perimeter pressure on the passers to limit that feed to get the ball inside. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of adjustments China can make.
Yeah, it looks like France are certainly zoning in on China's bigs. I wonder if it's the point guards who sort of have to step up a bit more. We've seen Yang Li Wei attack the basket a few times.
Well, I think that's a great job. I think that, as I said, dribble penetration is a good way, especially if the bigs are being guarded so closely. So to mix it up a little way, and often if you have dribble penetration, then the defense collapses, and then you can kick it out to some of your shooters.
And it looks like France is actually doing this without their main point guard, Monique Foutouk. She's still in the T-shirt on the bench, yet to see her in this game. They are doing a fantastic job without one of their leaders.
Well, that's, as we've said, that's very interesting when you look at that and see her. And she is generally a starter for them. So, yes, give full credit to Bernays and to Duché, who have come in and done a really good job in her absence.
Download the Courtside app on your screen to keep up with all the Olympic qualifying tournament action here in Xi'an as well as around the world. And here is the crowd getting up and about as we start the second quarter here. China down by 7. And they're already struggling on court. Li, Zhang, Pan and Li. Li Wan. A nice cut by Pan, and Malonga nearly had the block.
Well, one of the things we talked about when France played Puerto Rico was their smothering defense. France want to be known as a defensive team, and right now they're smothering China. Now, you're going to get some fouls with that, as we just saw with Peng Zhongxi. We see her at the line. But I tell you what, they're intent on playing some really good defense.
Peng Zhongxi at the line, as you mentioned. Plays for Beijing here in China. She's able to make the first one. Only played 1:30 against France back in the 2022 World Cup, so she can make a difference here tonight. And she goes 2 from 2. Always good for the losing team to score first coming out of the break.
We see the Chinese have extended their pressure.
Confirming Shetty, Michelle Boudy, Johannes Malonga. And Bernays on the court for France. Malonga steps back. And it'll be a French ball. It's very uncharacteristic for China to miss these rebounds.
Well, I think it's the pressure that France is putting on them, going hard after the O boards, but I feel like that little bit of a zone sort of threw France off a little bit, and it was a good thing. We see that China are back to one-on-one defense now.
And there's Johannes in the corner. My goodness!
It's exactly the same out of bounds play, same bounce pass, same catch and shoot. Johannes doing it right now for the French team.
9 points for Marine Johannes. He's lining it up once again. Li Wan, again, high press sort of action defense from France. And Li misses the pass. I'm a bit speechless seeing that. Well, it's not often you see that.
Well, of course we didn't see it when China played New Zealand. Everything was going their way and really looking well. But, you know, the difference is the pressure. But, I was going to say, no way. That was a quick release, but why not? She's just made the last couple.
Li Yuan gets past Johannes and gets it to Li Yulu, who was fouled.
See, that was a really good sequence of play with Li Yuru posting up in there and Li Yuan trying to penetrate, collapsing, kicking it out, and then really just making another great pass in there to her teammate.
Well, that's what we talked about briefly at the quarter time break, was the point guards continuing to step up and help out these bigs who are clearly being worked on by the France team and being prioritised, I'd say, by the France defence as well. Li misses the first. The crowd giving us some encouragement to make the second. A big day for fans here in China, of course, the Lunar New Year today. She makes the second. So all 3 points for China have been free throws in this second period. But they edge closer and closer to France's score. Michelle Boudy didn't score on Thursday and lands her first points tonight.
Well, I'm glad she shot that, because when they were in a zone and she cut to that exact same spot, she turned down a shot that I thought she could have taken. So great to see her wide open there and taking that shot and finishing it.
Here's a bit of fast ball movement from China, but they weren't on the same page, the two guards. And Wang's just giving some feedback to Li about the pass.
Wow, they just look a little bit out of sync so far in this game, China, and France look really on point.
Bernays goes herself. No, kicks it out to Michelle Boudy.
What a great drive and pass by Bernays. She really set that up. She got the defenders to commit and just made a really tough pass to her teammate on the baseline.
So another timeout on the floor. It's called by Coach Zhang Wei. And Bernays, we thought she was driving, had eyes in the corner for Michelle Boudy, who just launched and said, "Thank you very much." Let's listen to the China huddle. One of the things that I think perhaps China will be talking about in that timeout is they've got to take care of the basketball. It's been really uncharacteristic. They've got 5 turnovers already, and we're just, early days into this second quarter. So they need to take care of the basketball and be on the same page. And for France, well, they just need to keep shooting the 3 ball. They're shooting it at 56% right now. Especially from that corner. We see those replays there. Michelle Boudy and Johannes each getting a piece from that spot. Johannes, 7 minutes on court, 9 points. It's no surprise to see her efficient again tonight. 17 points in 17 minutes on Thursday against Puerto Rico. Still a China ball.
Great full court pressure. One-on-one defense just really rattling the Chinese team right now. You can see them denying up and in, no catches.
It's quite suffocating watching it. Lots of white jerseys around the Chinese team at the moment.
She thought about passing that ball in some sort of transition action, but elected to hold it up.
Michelle Boudy Johannes in the opposite corner, goes for Shetty, goes for Bernays. Maloga. Good catch by Shetty and a good finish.
That pass found the exact right spot. She had her arm outstretched. It was a little bit in front. She was able to bring it in and then finish strongly. That was not easy.
So China yet to score a field goal this term. Let's see what one can do. That's better.
Well, we'll see if that can sort of release the shackles from this team, because that was a very much needed basket by Wang Suyu.
Shetty and Bernays happy to share it around at the top. What can Johannes do? Will she go from 3? Will she go from 2? Will she pass?
Only she knows that.
Only she knows. I don't even know. Look at her go, Johannes! Oh my God!
She had that ball in her hand for that whole possession, wheeling and dealing, and then ends up shooting a 3 and has a nice smile to go with it.
That is insane from Johannes. No other word for it. And here she goes again. 12 points already. Michelle Boudy this time gets on the end of it. Shetty wasn't quite expecting it, but it works out. Johannes. I'd hate to be defending her right now. Michelle Boudy, shot clock down to 5.
She's got to get it up. She's got to get it up.
That was better from China, though.
I think with China right now, one thing that's happening, because France are playing with this intensity, at both ends of the court. So defensively, they're up in the passing lanes. As soon as they get the ball, they're running. So China feel they need to match that speed. I know they play quick themselves, but right now, they need to slow it down and get some really good looks at the basket. But right now, France is speeding them up and making them feel really uncomfortable.
So a big opportunity for them now with Johannes off the court and Li Meng back on. Bit of X factor. Here she is on cue. Just misses. Bernays takes a bit of a heavy hit there.
Peng Zhangxi's not sure about that foul, but certainly there was some contact made on Bernays as she was trying to bring the ball up the floor.
And here we see for the first time tonight, France's lead point guard, Marine Futux.
Well, that's great to know that she is not injured. I'm glad about that, because you never want to see somebody sit because they've got an injury.
Very interesting coaching tactics nonetheless from Jean-Amé Tupin. It's definitely worked so far. Surely on another dimension, and
wow.
Here she is. Crowd just stunned at the moment, really.
Well, I think I'm a bit stunned as well.
I've never heard this arena this quiet. Let's see if Li Meng can get them up and about. Salon got in her way.
Well, we know that Li Meng is a real go-to player. She can do so much on the court, score in so many different ways. She's got size, she's got strength, she's got athleticism, she exposes mismatches. So I think they're going to look to get her really involved right now.
Going up against Salon. Has to get Lee up the top. Fouled. She's done a good job of getting to the line, Lee Yuru. Shetty was a bit in two minds, going for the screen and then the block, and wasn't quite sure in the end.
Yeah, Cherie almost got there in time, but you know, it was good to see Lee Yuru put that ball to the floor and be confident with it.
Their leading scorer at the moment, Lee Yuru, with the 4 points. 2 from 4 from the from the free throw line, I should say. She'd love to be 2 from 3 from the 3-point line, mind you. But she'll go for free throws instead.
the thing is with China is we know what sort of scoring power they have, and they can come out and turn a game around pretty quickly. So France is going to have to stay on their toes and make sure they continue to play this sort of defense that is making China uncomfortable.
It seems they're looking to Li Yuru. I mean, we haven't seen Han Shu on the floor yet in this second period. She's yet to score in this game.
Well, I think that Li Yuru is doing a good job of presenting and you know, getting some good rebounds out there too. So give her a chance, give her a go.
Williams to Salon. Back up the top to Fortux. China a bit more in their face this time. Fortux. Repair. Good rebound. Williams now. Steps back. And Lee, the safe hands, gets it to Young. A nice look ahead pass, but Salon able to cut it off. Palm was saying, no, I didn't want it.
But I wanted to pass it. And that is their style of game, to kick ahead in that. But when things perhaps aren't going quite their way, you might want to just slow it down. And as we mentioned, cut down on those turnovers, although it is their ball still. But really look at getting a good action and a good shot.
So France called their first timeout for the game, but they're in a great position, leading 32 points to 18. Let's hear Coach Jean-Aimé Toupin.
左右前，哎，很紧张的观众朋友们，哎，没错没错，哎，这里评语聊得很棒啊。那现场朋友们在这个时候呢，也来给中国队一起加加油，好不好？中国队，加油！ End of timeout， 暂停时间到。Team France, team for number 4 in the second quarter. They will be a penalty.
Well, some chants from around the arena certainly made that a bit hard to hear. I don't know how Coach Toupin does it, but it'd be very good instructions and a lot of encouragement for what his team's been able to do so far.
Well, I think it would want to focus around defense and making sure that they're still locked in the way they have for the first quarter and a half of this game so far, because that's been really, game-changing. To keep China to 18 points at this stage of the game is a great result for France.
And on the other hand, France...
Oh my goodness, that's the sort of turnover that you just don't see from this team. I mean, they would have diagrammed something in that timeout to, get a specific shot and then just to throw it out of bounds.
It prompts a sub from Coach Zhang, and it's Huang coming on for Pan. I think that's a good move, Laurie. For Tux. Williams, good cut.
That was just a nice little curl cut. She really utilized that screen, and then a nice pass from Futux.
Wang to reset things for China. Moving with speed, and they're getting it to Lee. Williams doesn't have that much ahead of her, so puts on the pace. Oh, but good cut off by Yang Li Wei. That's much better from the China defense. Wang. Offensive foul. Couldn't get past the two French bigs. Crowd definitely not liking that call. Let's take a look at it here. Running into Bardian. Did Wang. And look at the turnovers this quarter. Like you mentioned, Laurie, 5-1. China with the 5. Haven't used the ball well. Definitely compared to their last game on Thursday. Salon. Badian. Oh my goodness.
And that was a good move out there. On the baseline penetration. Had the foot speed over Han Xiu, and then was able to kick it back to her teammate.
Wang couldn't go under the defense. They are just matching China's every move, everything they try. France have an answer for. The corner, can they line it up once again? Salon just misses, oh, but gets a piece of that. And was fouled by Wang.
It's such a good example, though. Every time that France penetrates, puts it to the ground, puts pressure on the ring, the defense collapses. They get to their receiver spots. They know exactly where to pass it to a shooter on the perimeter.
Williams into Badian.
Han Xiu did a great job of just at the last minute changing that shot.
Young looking to slow it down into Huang. Gets the mismatch against Futux, but can't take full advantage. And Williams using her pace once again. Repair there to help. The two bigs working together once again. A 6-0 run for France. Wang. And look at that, a 21-6 run, in fact, in the last 7 minutes from the French team. Utter dominance. And Repair was the one that committed the foul on Huang.
Well, I think, again, you know, while you're playing that sort of aggressive defense, you can expect some fouls like that. I mean, she was up and in and didn't give her room to be able to turn. But you know what? As a coach, you'd accept that. To be able to play that and put that pressure on, I'd certainly go, I'll take a few of those fouls.
So France over the limit, so 2 minutes left for China to try and perhaps get to the free throw line as many times as they can. They've been there a lot already. They've just got to keep converting like that. And I tell you what, it makes it interesting for a team like Puerto Rico. They're seeing China win, and they can qualify if France beat China, and then they would have beat New Zealand. I mean, it's all sort of panning out in a very unique way. For Tux now. Williams. Malonga rolling, but Williams doesn't need her.
Nice little hesitation there. Got her defender just to stand up out of the stance a little bit, and then was able to explode and finish.
So Gabby Williams with the 8 points. Oh, a good move there by Young. This is better from China. Huang can't land it.
And look at France. Williams, wow. So Mong Lee was back, but she was defending a player that had gone with her, and that's where the communication is. You've got to protect the basket first.
25 points to 9 this quarter from France. Lee. You expect a hard drive and her to hit those. She does get fouled, but...
Well, she did, you know, she recognized that she had Futux on her, so she was trying to back her down and just use her physicality. But a great job, some great split line help came across, and foul was called, but certainly Li Meng finds herself now at the line. Little sore, perhaps.
2 points so far this game for Li Meng, and the 1 assist. Very quiet by her standards. We know she came off for 14 points and 3 rebounds against New Zealand on Thursday. And a big burst in the second term as well in that game. She's one of those players that makes an impact off the bench, but hasn't quite found it today. They've got to keep making those free throws. But it's a 22-point margin for Tux. Williams. So much speed from her tonight. A France ball. Well, the crowd are booing, but coach can challenge. There is coaches' challenges, of course, in these Women's Olympic qualifying tournament games. But they'll oblige to the French ball. Williams somehow gets a hold of it.
Her athleticism is on display this afternoon for everybody to see. It's her speed. You know, she gets some really good height when she goes in strongly at the basket, and it's nice to watch.
Oh, and again, Salon off and running this time. Wants to go on her own. A tough shot for Tooks, the smallest one there for the rebounder, Yayi. Huang breathes a bit of a sigh of relief, but it's not out of the backcourt yet. Now Young goes over. I still can't find a way to get Hahn involved. Here she is now, loses it.
4 on the shot clock.
Lee Mong! Ice cold! That is exactly what this Chinese team needed.
Wow, they certainly did, on the buzzer, on the halftime buzzer. And you could just see the sense of relief in her face as she turned around and realized that that went in.
The hand on the heart, she taps the chest. Exactly what she needed, exactly what her team needed, but it has been all France up to half-time, and the score is 44-24 after 2 periods. And I tell you what, you'd be a very happy coach if you were Coach Jean-Aimé Toupard. That is a clinical start from the French team, as demonstrated by these stats.
Well, I mean, those stats are all about the shooting, and we can see from their three-point shooting, you know, they're at a great clip, and the turnovers, well, China 9 for the half is way too many. But the thing that's impressed me the most, and you don't sort of see it on the stat sheet, is the defense and the way the French team is getting up and in the passing lanes, not letting them do anything easy, bump the cutters, three-quarter fronting the bigs, making it hard to get a ball into them. As you can see, they're really stem the flow of that interior pass. So, wow, their defense is really, really up another level.
Here are the best plays from the second quarter. And again, it was all France, 27 points to 14. They did so well offensively. If it wasn't Johannes, it was Williams. And I think she really stepped up in that second period.
Well, I agree. I think she brought that athleticism, that speed. Johannes brought the shooting out there. So, you know, they looked at ways and different means of scoring. That was that three that was, you know, they haven't made many. And so they certainly needed a couple out there. And again, that's, you know, just an uncharacteristic turnover. Coach is not happy, and you know, they need to change things around. But wow, France have all the answers right now.
And that's exactly right. I think that's the way I sort of sum it up. All the answers, everything China's tried to try. And to their credit, China have been continuing to try new things, but France have just come up with responses, and it's been clinical.
Well, again, we just see there Williams and the way she's had her handles, the way she's used her athleticism, as I mentioned. It's, you know, China have a lot to talk about at halftime, whereas France will be saying, hey, we need to do exactly what we need to continue doing exactly what we did in that first half.
Well, don't go anywhere. Second half coming up. France up by 20. Welcome back to Xi'an, where it's France leading China by 20 points at halftime. And Laurie, I suppose two of the reasons why France is leading so far are Marie Johannes and Gabby Williams, who have combined for 24 of France's 44 points.
Well, they've been totally influential in that first half. And, you know, they didn't play with the team in the 23 Eurobasket when France finished third. We know that Johannes didn't play at the World Cup in Sydney, so they're really bringing those two back into the fold. And, you know, some question whether it would take a while to get them back in and used to playing with everybody. But I tell you what, they have fit in seamlessly, and the French team would be glad to have them back. And as you mentioned at some stage, Gruda's still to come back potentially into this lineup that they've already qualified for Paris. So they've got a great combination of youth and experience right now, and it's really showing up on the court, and they would be super happy with the way that first half went.
Well, Li Meng's been the one that's been fighting hard for the Chinese team. She's the leading scorer with 7 points. Of course, coming off a great performance on Thursday night, she's going to be the one to try and break the game open. But the leading scorer, again, Marie Johannes for France. Apologies, Gabby Williams, but we are showing Marie Johannes on the screen. Gabby Williams with the 12 points, Bernays with the 3 assists, and Williams with the 5 rebounds. And there's only 2 players yet to score for France. I mean, it's almost a carbon copy of what we saw on Thursday night, a really even spread of scorers.
Well, it is, and they're doing it in different ways, but, you know, they only went to the foul line 5 times against Puerto Rico, and they've only been to the foul line twice this way, so they're finding ways when they get to the basket. There's clear driving lanes, or they're finishing strongly and absorbing that contact. But it's up to China now to answer this, to see what they're made of. This is where, you know, they would have talked about lots of different things at halftime. You know, I'd like to see the bigs. I know they're working hard inside, and France are doing a really good job of taking away, and the guards are doing a good job of putting perimeter pressure, but they need to work extra hard to get that ball inside. That's their strength. That's where they've, you know, Han Xiu has been MVP at numerous tournaments, so they need to look inside. They need to go to their strengths, and we know they've got lots of depth, so I have no doubt that they will make some changes at halftime and come out a different team.
And I totally agree. I mean, it's bizarre to me to see Han Xiu with 0 points for the game so far. I mean, she averaged over 20 points at the Asia Cup, and she's coming off another fantastic performance on Thursday. It's uncharacteristic, really.
Well, and they do such a good job. We talked about this in that other game against New Zealand, where their passing was so good. They moved the ball really well. They executed so that they would have a good look inside. They knew to get it up in the air where they could finish it. But let's just have a listen inside the French huddle right now.
So China back out there and ready on the floor. They've got a lot to do in this second half. They've landed just 6 of 24 field goal attempts. Offense isn't good, but I don't know if defense is working either. But you are watching, of course, on the Courtside app. Download it on your screen if you haven't already. It's got all the latest news and highlights from around the world. Plenty at stake, not just here in China, but in Belgium, in Hungary, in Brazil as well. I mean, the Hungary one's really interesting, Laurie.
Oh my goodness, they've played 2 rounds as compared to some of the other pools, which has still only played 1 round. But every single team, Japan, Spain, Canada, Hungary, all have 1 win and 1 loss. So that final day is going to be crucial. But let's see what China has to bring in this second half, and if they can bring down this margin and make it competitive.
Tipping off the second half here in Xi'an, and it's France leading by 20 points. The crowd are silenced on this New Year's Day in the arena. Ayayi, Williams, Badian, Johannes and Duché to start on the floor, and Williams misses her first attempt.
But that's exactly what she's been doing. She's hesitation, dribble, and then exploding and getting by her defender quite easily.
Li Meng can't convert the three. She's been the spark for China so far on what's otherwise been a disappointing day so far. Ayayi. Badian, good hands to reach that one back in, and then tried to do the smart thing off Han's foot. Duché now. Pulls up, knocks it down.
When things are going well for your team, things are going well. A little banker three.
Wang Siyu gets it back from Huang. They're happy to share it around, but the shot clock's ticking down, so Han's got to turn, shoot, and get her first points of the game.
That's exactly what they need to do, a little bit more of. Get her in that right position where she's comfortable, work hard, keep the defender behind.
Good pass from Duché to Ayayi. But that's exactly right. I mean, Han's got to be the one to get involved with this Chinese team or any chance of getting back into this one.
Definitely, and you just get it high in the air. Let her do the rest of the work.
Even playing a role in that set there, just swanning it away from the French offense. Johannes, tell you what, speaking of impact, can't convert that one. Wang and Young happy to pass around to each other. Huang Sujing into Han, stepping around Badian. Geez, that would have been a big confidence booster if she can go back to back.
I still like the look. I still thought it was a good inside look for them.
Duché.
Wow, great decision by Duché to pull up. Just didn't quite finish it, but there is Williams, we see, with a steal. Not the finish, but again, it was collected by Duché.
And good offensive rebounding there means France can have another go, and it's in the right hands with Marine Johannes. They're stuck on that far side of the court. Ayayi breaks free.
Great move by Ayayi to realize that she had a mismatch, and so took her player down low.
Wang harassed by Duché. And again, she's right there with her. Badian this time comes in to help. Leaves Young free though. Can't make use of the open look.
It was wide open look too.
Williams kicks it to Duché. It comes back in the hands of Gabby Williams, who this time goes inboard. And it lets it drop.
She makes that look so easy. She just does that so comfortably and has such a nice release on her shot.
Great physical defense on the other end as well. She's doing it all. Oh, beautiful pass to Badian. Waits for the defense to come and converts.
Again, it was a nice pass because it was slightly in front of her, so all Badian had to do was move towards the ball, catch it, turn, and finish.
There's a bit of frustration amongst the crowd right now, it must be said too. France just keep on motoring on. A 7-0 run so far in this third term. In fact, now 9 points to 2 is the confirmation. Of course, Han making her first bucket. But that's all that the China crowd have had to cheer about so far. And it prompts some immediate subs into the game. Li Yuan and Li Yuru. I think that's a good move. Li Yuru started off the game really well. Got to the line a couple of times. Let's see if she can convert some field goals. Li Meng. Huang wide open. Can she convert? That's better!
They certainly needed that basket just to settle the nerves a little bit.
Huang's second three for the game. Duché scoops it into Badian. A good battle against Lee. She got rid of her, then got Williams.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
They are shooting the ball so well. And it's not only one person, there's a few of them. It's a good battle inside between Li Yuru and Badian. Foul was called on Badian.
Here is Li to Huang to Li Yuan. Li Mong for three. Geez, that would have been good. Back-to-back threes for China. Williams now looking to punish them. Johannes to Badian, has a look of her own and knocks it down.
The French team are shooting that ball with such confidence.
7 points from Mariam Badian. And the lead has blown out to 30 points. 5 minutes left in the third term. It's safe to say we trusted France might have a chance of winning, but by this much, I'm not too sure. Crowd want it backcourt. Huang got it back anyway. Sets, shoots, can't score.
She thought that felt good leaving the hand. She was backpedaling down the court.
And a bit of a hostile reception. The crowd's still a bit unforgiving of that backcourt call. Let's take a look on the replay. In fact, we'll look at the foul.
Well, I feel like China right now are really looking for the referees to almost bail them out and call some fouls, and you know, they just have to keep playing through this. Oh, that was a bit of travel.
Yeah. I see why they got a bit mad there. So the crowd really getting up and about. There's frustration, not just from the players, but from the crowd. We spoke about how much the crowd would impact this game, and it's almost working the opposite way. So we'll have some subs for the French team. Romain Bernays is going to replace Alex Duché, and Ileana Rupert is going to replace Mariam Badian. They're very like for like. France, one comes in, one comes out. It doesn't make a difference. They all know their roles. So does Johannes.
See, that is such a shooter's mentality. And then a steal here.
Off one leg, Johannes! Stop it! That is borderline unfair. That is unbelievable.
Well, you have to say that France right now, they're having all the celebrations. They are the dragons out there right now, no question about that.
Let's go into the China huddle.
One of the questions that was asked when at the Women's World Cup was, you know, how can China perform when it's a high-pressure game? And I think they answered that pretty soundly when they finished second and then won the Asia Cup. But this is the first time they've been challenged probably since then. And, you know, that question now, they're in front of their home fans. And you don't get to play in front of your home fans that often. So, you know, they'd be disappointed in the way they've performed so far and want to try and change things.
I tell you who wouldn't be disappointed is Marine Johannes. We saw that 3 and that 2. 17 points on Thursday, fully for the game, and 17 points already tonight. She's involved in the defense here. Li Meng, though, that's much needed.
And that's what they need. They just need a spark, not only from one person, but as a team, they need to continue to work together.
Bernays to Ayayi to Williams. Williams also with the 17 points. Tried to feed Ayayi.
Now I felt in that play, that one play down the court, China had upped their defense. All of a sudden they were making France feel a little bit uncomfortable. And that's the only way you can do it. When a team is beating you by that much, everything feels really good and easy. And so you have to change something. And if that means getting some fouls, but you've got to go out there and be physical, get in the passing lanes, and that's exactly what they did.
Li Yuan, we were looking for Li Meng once again. Instead goes herself. Huang somehow claims the rebound to Li Yuru. Looking for Li Yuan. Or Li Meng, anyone will do. Li Yuan finds space. That was clever. And a foul called in amongst all that.
But what a noticeable difference in energy levels that we're seeing from this team right now. So whatever was said at that timeout, you know, they're playing right now. Whether that shot went in or not, they're actually playing and playing hard.
France's defense is good again though. Li Meng, I should say. Couldn't convert the three.
No, young Li Wei just almost crawled over the back of her a player to try and get a hand to that, an offensive rebound.
So Salon heading onto the floor. 64 plays 32. 3 minutes left in the third period.
Zhang Ru has also checked in.
Young Li Wei, the one to take a seat for China. Young Li Wei with just the 2 points for this game. Bernays has to go back to go forward and then dumps it to repair. That's a good read by Huang.
Well, that was a really good rotation. She drew that extra defender, knew that was the obvious pass, and Hung Si-jing was able to make that intercept.
Johannes has to go back a very long way to get it. Keeps it in the front court. And then goes one leg again. Doesn't get the same result as she has previously. But this 2 minutes 37 is crucial for China. They have definitely upped their game out of that timeout. They have to put the scoring pressure on now. Huang has had 2 3-pointers this game. Li Meng also shooting it well from that range. Drives in this time and banks it in with the M1 to come.
Good patience there. They were a little worried. Nothing was happening. There wasn't a lot of ball and player movement. But on that ball reversal, on that closeout, Li Meng put it to the deck really strongly, and a nice pull-up finish and one.
So a timeout call before she goes to the free throw line. She's up to 12 points for the game. Jeanne Tupan the one to call that timeout. 64 plays 34. 2 minutes 21 left in the third period. Be very happy with what his team's been able to produce. Let's listen in now. So Li Meng's been the spark for the Chinese team. 12 points for the game so far, along with 2 assists. That was one of her 2 3-pointers.
And as I said earlier, Meng Li is a go-to player. So They need the ball in her hands. They need her either going herself or creating for others, but really bringing that energy and that physicality. And she can change a game. She's that sort of player.
So she's got the free throw to come, of course. Banked that 2 home before the timeout. And can now get the 3-point play. Had 14 points on Thursday. So she's already just scoring well, but her team's just not coming with her this time. And she misses the free throw. Bernays now for France. Wonder if they can execute what Coach Toupin said just in that recent timeout. Didn't have to say a whole lot, mind you. Salon. Travelled.
Again, we see that defense where there's just a little bit more denial, a little bit more bumping the cutters, just a little more focus overall.
Li Wan using a quick step to try and get past Bernays, but she's right there with her. Li Mong hit the deck in the background.
Well, that'll result in 2 shots as French are over the limit.
A bit of a shove from Solon there. And Li Mong missed a previous free throw. She'll have to nail these 2. First one's good. And the crowd just trying to give her some encouragement. Another great crowd packed in despite the holiday. It's been fantastic to see everyone up and about. They're trying everything to will this team back into the game, but France is superior tonight. Michelle Bouri. Haven't seen her in a while.
They've thrown out a zone. Oh,
Solon. Oh,
nice defender, turned her head at the back of the zone, just got underneath it, which is exactly the position you're supposed to take when a team plays a zone. Really good finish.
What a find by Michelle Bouri as well. Zhang Ru just going one way then the other. Can't get past the French defense. And they cause a stop and they like it.
Interesting. I'm just finding that China are, they're not, certainly the focus isn't on their big players. You could see at that last possession, Li Yuru was up around the foul line.
They've had to deploy different tactics because the French team have had all the answers tonight. Michelle Bouri, can she deliver another excellent dime? Goes to Repair, who wants her back, then goes to Salon. Drives hard on Li Mong. Bernays. Some good offense here by France. Can they capitalize with a score? Bernays thought about it. Shot clock down to 5. Probably a foul Lee didn't need to give.
Yeah, the shot clock was right down. A couple of seconds left on it. Would have had to be a forced shot.
And it prompts the 2 shots now as well. China also over the limit. So definitely not a foul she needed to give. And being injected to the game for the first time tonight, Yang Shuyu. They need some energy. Can she be the spark? Can she deliver? Michelle Bouri has been pretty solid tonight. We know she didn't score on Thursday, but still had an impact. And again, she's leading this team fantastically tonight. Second one just rims out. Li Wan. Under a minute left in this third period. China would love to end it with some momentum. Li Mong loses it. Great D. Bernays. Guarded by Young. Shot clock and game clock pretty much
they're
equal.
Just going to play for that last shot, I would presume.
Bernays taking her time. Oh, pulling up instead. Surprising aside.
Why?
And why not pull up when you can make it like that?
That's the way to use the shot clock. Keep it in your hands. Look like you're looking for somebody else there. Eyes on the target and just put it up yourself.
And I tell you what, when it's your day, it is your day. And France have not put a foot wrong this game. Let's take a look at this from Bernays. Steps around and knocks it down. Clutch from the French point guard. Her 5th point of the game. Her team is rolling. And at the end of the 3rd quarter, it's France 70 over China 36.
Well, what's really, really notable with this French team is that any subs that have been made, regardless of who it is, there has not been any change in the momentum, the fierceness of the defense, what they're trying to do offensively. It's just the same, and what a luxury that is for the coaches to be able to make subs and go with your bench, go with depth, and be able to still play that same style of game.
Absolutely right. What a luxury Coach Tupan has. Let's head into his huddle. So we'll now head into the best plays of the 3rd quarter. And it was France continuing on their merry way, 23 points to 12. Although China, towards the end of that 3rd period, Laura, I felt like they found something, but just couldn't quite capitalize probably offensively.
Well, I thought certainly their intensity defensively picked up there in the last half of the quarter. But France still had answers. Whatever they've been throwing at, they've come up with some answers, and they've steadied. And then, to end that quarter with that 3-point shot from Duché, that's a bit of a dagger for China. But you know what they've got to do now in this last quarter? They've got to give their fans something to cheer about. So they need to, as I said, you don't get to play in front of your home fans that often. So they need to hold their heads high. They need to win this last quarter and, put some pressure on France.
Of course, they have Puerto Rico up next on Sunday, so it becomes a must-win clash for them. New Zealand, Puerto Rico up next after this. 4th period tipping off here on the Courtside app or wherever you're watching from around the world. 70 plays 36. It's been a dominant French display. But that's a good drive early up from Yang Shuyu. Good to see her starting on the floor in this 4th period. Coach Zhang just providing something different for this French team to think about.
Well, when you're down this much and you've got to try and just create something else, it is a good opportunity for a younger player, less experienced player, to be able to come in. She's 21 years old. She's the sister of the captain, Yang Li Wei, and what a great opportunity for her playing in front of this home crowd.
And an early sub for the French team. Sherry comes off and Repair comes on, so looking like they want to try something here offensively. Bernays to Michelle Boudi. We know Bernays beat the buzzer at the end of the 3rd period with that deep triple. Malonga.
It's a really active zone right now, 2-3 zone that the Chinese team are playing.
But France get past it again.
They found the answer to it. They didn't panic. They had a lot of poise out there.
Again, another great dime by Michelle Boudi as well. This time finding Malonga, who's back in defense against Li Yuru. Great D from the 18-year-old.
They have learned their scout notes very, very well, France.
Repair gets her own rebound and follows through. Against 2 defenders, mind you. Just had her eyes on the ball. Li Mong into Young. Oh, that's a great find. And Li couldn't finish it off. That's what we've been looking for from the Chinese team.
Well, that would probably have been the easiest basket had she made it that they had all night.
And we've said earlier, when things go your way, they go your way. But equally, when things don't go your way, they don't go your way. A regulation too, all of a sudden hard to make.
Oh, and I'm sure Coach Zhang Wei is just shaking her head trying to find some answer to this. Wow, 4 players smothered that.
Li Meng found a way through, but not the basket to go with it. Li Yuru, not often she's on the deck, and she got fouled.
So if France are double, tripling, and in that case quadrupling, I'm not even sure if that's the right word, then she's got to make sure that she recognizes that, because then obviously there are 4 wide open shooters, and we know that they can nail those 3-point shots. So, but it's got to happen quickly.
Here is Li to Huang to Young, moving it around a lot quicker in this offensive set. Oh, Li couldn't just quite capture it. France just read that perfectly.
Oh, that little bit of a hand by Duché just caused that turnover.
Malonga to Michelle Bouri. Goes baseline, then gets repair. High-low action to Malonga. Shot clock down to 4. Bernays can beat the shot clock, we know that. Doesn't get the success this time. And Yang Li Wei is going to come back into the game for Li Yuan. Captain needs to stand tall in these moments. Li Yuru into Huang. Repair doing a great job to hold her up. And Salon just interfered there with Li Meng.
I tell you what, France are bumping cutters. They're nothing easy. Li Meng was trying to battle her way through the keyway.
I think Salon in particular has played really good defensively on Li Meng. We know Li Meng's just as aggressive offensively, but Salon's matched it right up to her. And she clearly hasn't had the impact she would have liked, Li Meng. Li Yuru, Huang in the corner. Oh wow, gets cut off again. Bernays wants to push the pace. Salon in the air, that's beautiful. That is just stunning basketball from the French team.
Well, it is, and as soon as that was really, I'd be giving a lot of credit to Duché and the way she got her hand, intercepted that, and then just went to the races. But, you know, you got to have a teammate that's running, that's athletic, can do that. Just place that perfectly up in the air. Nice, nice basketball.
And Bernays says, count that. And we're going to head into a timeout now. 76 plays 37. Let's listen to Zhang Wei. So we come out of the China huddle now. Not much left you can do as a coach. I mean, you're down by this much. It's up to the players now to find something.
Well, this is where they've all got to dig deep, not hang their heads, see if they can, you know, it's as hard as it is, get something out of this last quarter, this last 7.5 minutes.
You saw Han Shu on the bench. 2 points and 4 rebounds for her this game. Very unlike her. The crowd's still keeping with them though, as they try to battle through the French defense. Huang, what are the cunning Young? Then got Li Meng. Li Yuru can't break free from Malonga, so Li Meng has to go. And again, suffocating defense from France. And a lot of options back on offense. Salon to Bernays. Still looking Bernays, still searching. Oh, finds Malonga. That's a beautiful look.
I loved that from Bernays when she had that ball at the three-point line. You could just see her glance up at the shot clock to see how much was left, recognizing it was about 7 seconds. So put the ball to the floor, collapsed the defense, and got it to her big player.
And what a stat this is. 36 points to 8 in the paint from France. Considering how much of a taller team China is, that is astounding. They've just been able to get inside, shoot it well from the outside, and defend brilliantly. You never say the word perfect, but it really has been a certainly comprehensive performance.
Well, what a great job Bernays and Duché have done in this game. Futux has only played just under 5 minutes or just over 5 minutes. So, they've really had the brunt of this point guard position and have done an excellent job.
And Bernays just seems to have so much time on her hands whenever she gets the ball. But Li Meng rushing now. She knows she has no time. Repair with nothing up ahead of her. And banks it in. A 10-0 run for the French team after Young opened the quarter with a free throw. Repair has 6 points of her own. Young Li Wei. Bernays with the active hands again. She's been so impressive. Li Meng thought about the corner. Salon was right there with her. Bernays pushing the pace again. Repair sets herself. Liuru battled hard against Michelle Bouri for that rebound. Eventually broke free. Young. Huang. Bounce pass to Liuru. The right idea. She hits the deck pretty hard.
Well, France have definitely not taking their foot off the pedal. They are still playing that smothering defense, making everything China do difficult, uncomfortable, physical, and they have done that right from the tip-off.
So subs and then a timeout to follow from Coach Zhang Wei. Her team down 80 points to 37, if you can believe it. The second-ranked team in the world down against the seventh-ranked team. And we're going to head into Coach Zhang Wei's huddle. Actually, we might. Oh, yes, we will. Sorry about that. We will head into the huddle.
Not sure how much, what you can say at this point of a game other than to, keep your players going, get their heads up. They will be anxious for that final buzzer to go, I would think, Julia. It hasn't been exactly how they'd gone according to plan, but full credit to France and the way that they have come out and absolutely embraced this game and every single aspect of it.
Han Shu just sitting on the bench forlornly, just the 2 points today. She shot 21 points at 100% on Thursday night. It's been a very different night for her. She's only played the 13 minutes. Li Yuru has been carrying the load in terms of the bigs tonight. 7 points and 8 rebounds. On the verge of that double-double again, but it's not what she would have wanted if her team can't get the win. And finally, we do see Han injected back into the game. It's almost a bit too little too late.
Well, I'd still like to see if she can make some deep catches, some deep seals, what she can do defensively just to try and get something positive. They're persisting with this zone.
Malonga, the high reach, pays off.
She has played some valuable minutes in this tournament so far.
4 points for her tonight, along with 3 rebounds. Make that 6 points. Li Meng, one way than the other. Guarded by the long reach of Dominique Malonga. Steps back with the hands in her face. Li Meng. 17 points for her tonight. She's been the spark for the China team. But you'd be very hard-pressed to pick a player of the game for France. They've all been fantastic. Michelle Bouri can't scoop that one in. Yang Liwei has Han running up ahead of her. But every player has another player right next to them. Yang Shuyu, the crowd urging her to shoot. Instead, it comes off her foot. A foul in amongst Repair's pass.
That's a lot of pressure on the very young Shu Yu. The crowd wanting her to score, wanting her to shoot it. Not really the right shot or place to take it, but hopefully we can see her get on the scoreboard.
She's certainly one of the more popular Chinese players. A rise comes from the crowd every time she gets the ball. And Repair, speaking of getting the ball, can't convert it. A foul on the rebound. China will get it from the baseline. Down by 40 points. 3 minutes left in this game. They face Puerto Rico on Sunday. France come up against New Zealand. Of course, Puerto Rico and New Zealand go head-to-head in the next game. And Janelle Salon is fouled out. But a solid performance from her.
And that foul also resulted in Li Meng at the foul line.
17 points for Li Meng. Make that 18 now. She's shot 5 from 13 from the field. She's had 3 3-pointers. She's battled really hard for this team. Giving the crowd some things to cheer about with her moments, Li Meng. Michelle Bouri looking to silence the crowd again. Malonga has the hands up. Couldn't find her in time. And it forces the turnover. Li Meng just shovels it ahead to Yang Liwei. Steps back. And France will get it again.
The crowd are just desperate for anything to cheer for right now.
Celebrating New Year's Day. They want to celebrate a China win, but it's not going to be the way tonight. Tell you what, they should stick around for the next game between Puerto Rico and New Zealand. That'll be a cracker. A real do-or-die battle.
Well, there's so much on the line in that game. And you know, as I've said a few times, I'm so impressed with France because they've qualified. So, you know, they didn't have to play with this sort of intensity. But what a great test it's been and what a great response it's been.
It falls to Li Meng. Can she go for the 20-piece? A nice step through by Li Meng. And she is giving the crowd something. Repair. Couldn't quite feed Malonga. But then Ayayi. She's had the active hands even on Thursday night as well. Doing it again tonight. Duche thought about the 3. Then went to Michelle Bouri. Ayayi, what a clever pass that was. It just didn't pay off.
You had to be careful with that pass. Duche was sitting there waiting, almost trying to intercept it.
Again, wasn't to be, and Ayayi gets back to Duche and they can reset. I mean, Bernays had such a great stint as the point guard in that third period, but Duche equally as capable. The nightmare doesn't end for China. Repair. And to add to that, we've barely seen Johannes as Duche launches one.
Well, Johannes or Williams, who have been so influential in the first 3/4 of the game, and I don't think we've seen them at all this fourth quarter. They've sat. So again, we talk about that luxury of depth, which we normally talk about China in that game, but in that sense. But certainly, it's been all about France in today's game.
They deserve all the credit for their performance tonight. Leading 82-46, under a minute left. Li Meng into Huang. Han banks it in. Hasn't been her night, Han Xu, but she's persisted with her limited minutes. Michelle Boudy. Back to Duché. Rupert. Han claims the rebound. Huang. A nice drive. Good to see her continuing to keep attacking the basket. She'll go to the line for 2.
Well, I'm not sure if we discussed one, score lines, and 2, actually how many points China would have at the end of the game. I think we would have said certainly more than 48. It has been a masterclass example of defense by France to hold this mighty China team to, well, maybe 49, 50 points in this game. 50 points.
And conversely, this is now France's 6th game in a row in the Olympic qualifying tournament where they've scored more than 80 points. So their offense has been on show again. And again, they're going to look for the last shot. Will they get a buzzer beater this time? Ayayi. Duché.
I think they'll just run the clock out, be happy to run the clock out and take this victory.
And why wouldn't they? France has spoiled China's New Year's Day party, toppling the host nation on their home floor. They go 2 from 2 and bring some stellar form into Paris while they'll play an Olympic tournament in front of their home fans. And at full time, the final score is France 82, China 50.
Well, France are going to leave this floor and go off and be really happy with the result of this game, and so they should be. They had a lot of contributors. It was really a team effort at both ends of the court, and they looked like they enjoyed playing together. There was a lot of assists, there was a lot of great basket, and they scored, Julia, in a lot of different ways. But for me, the most important was their defense, and I think that'll hold them in good stead going forward.
Absolutely. They've got one more game to come on Sunday against New Zealand. Of course, we know they've already qualified, but I'd love to see what they come out and do, because today, those stats tell you just how clinical they were. I mean, shooting over 50% from the field from 2-point range and nearly 50 from 3, that just says it all.
Well, that's it, and that's at the offensive end where, you know, they racked up the 82 points. But again, you know, stats don't necessarily show that defensive end and keeping China to 50 points. But there are your top scorers, 17 and 17 for the 2 stars of the France team. But they were ably assisted by many of their teammates.
And every France player got on the scoreboard tonight as well. Of course, we know Johannes and Williams leading the way with 17 points apiece, but they didn't play a whole lot of minutes. Again, Johannes, the 17 minutes, and Gabby Williams, the 21 minutes. She was the person who played the highest amount of minutes tonight. John-Ame Dupin again balanced the bench impressively.
Well, he was able to. When you have a scoring line like that, you're able to play all your players, and